Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Important But Unimportant News Podcast. I'm your host, Beavers Rock, and I am joined by Tanafe, Trey, the N-Nafe. He goes by a few names. Trey.
Do you really need to, cut down that name? My brain, it took you so long to say the name of the podcast that I forgot that I was on the podcast.
Well, that's why this is still the beta. We're ironing out the kinks.
But I'm alpha as fuck.
That's debatable. You're a simp.
Can I curse on the stream?
Yes, you can.
Am I allowed? Can I say other words?
No, you cannot say gamer words.
I cannot say. Oh man! All right, I gotta leave. All right, I'm back.
All right, well,
I've renounced my gamerism.
all right, good. I'm glad you're not a gamer anymore.
All right. So what are we? We're talking about. What are we talking about?
First, we're talking about how a wrecking ball fails to stop Leaning Tower of Dallas from leaning.
So
I have no idea.
So first of all, it's because everything's bigger in Texas, and they clearly. I'm watching the footage, right?
Yeah.
They clearly got imported the wrecking ball, as it is much too small to be a standard size Texas wrecking ball, and it looks more like a drum that they tied a rock to.
So what you're saying is outsourcing is the enemy of Texas. Wait, hold on. I'm looking at it again. That is not a wrecking ball.
Well, okay, that's because the wrecking ball's immediate. They're not even hitting it.
They are.
They're like rubbing it down.
What the hell?
It's honestly making a noise. That's what they're doing to it. The remainder of the building proved resilient as on. They didn't hit it. They rubbed it.
Apparently, it started leaning when the building survived an implosion.
What now?
Part of the building survived implosion. How did it implode? Is a good question.
Oh no, that's how they tear down buildings. They line the inside with explosives, so that way it falls into itself and the debris doesn't explode everywhere.
Oh, it just stopped falling.
It just stopped, yeah.
Okay, so it wasn't an accident. Got it.
Online petition. Save this landmark from destruction.
Hold on. Is that somewhere in the article?
Yeah, on the second article you sent me, it talks about how there's a petition on change.org. Save the Leaning Tower of Dallas by making it a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And then the picture that they use is really good. They use it's just the shittiest looking picture I have ever seen. It's just an eyesore.
This is.
I'm signing this.
They almost have 2,000 signed.
I just signed it.
Why is this the image they chose to have? They couldn't.
Why didn't they should have had a person holding it up.
That's also true.
They should have had a person holding it up. Yeah, sign this petition. Let's go. Let's go.
I like how on change.org the last thing before why save it is, if anything, do it for the memes.
Hold on. I'm gonna post that in all my school Discord servers real quick. Hold on, random change.org, and then I'm gonna send a link to the article. Hold on.
Why save it? Cultural and historical significance, sticking it to shitty developers, preventing more overpriced housing, keeps the rent down, tourism money, adds character, dank memes. Oh my god, Trey, scroll down to updates.
Let's see it. Continue.
It's got some guys with Mad Max shit. Oh my
Hold on,
god.
it's taken me through like 10 others. I'll see news on the petition I signed. What the hell is that?
we struck gold with our first article.
This is really reasons for signing. I don't know. Reasons for signing. I feel as an American that we don't that we are falling behind our competitors. What country is the Leaning Tower of Pisa in?
Italy. I think.
Pisa. It's in pizza. It's in Italy, yeah. Our competitors. Italy in this case.
Is the Leaning Tower of Pisa taller than Dallas's Leaning Tower?
Probably in the race you have the lowest angular hanging buildings.
Tower.
Period. I
186.
believe that.
How tall is Leaning Tower of Dallas? I spelled Dallas wrong.
And try to have a lean dash here tower than they do.
No.
Honestly,
Trey.
just do what?
Bad news.
What?
3 hours ago, the Leaning Tower of Dallas fell.
Oh man, I just made the comment. What? I said. I'll read it. I said, I feel as an American that we are falling behind our competitors, Italy in this case, in the race to have the lowest angular hanging building.
Oh.
I believe that as citizens, we should push forward and try to make a linear tower than they do. Honestly, I'm just doing my part.
Oh my god.
I can't believe it. This is a roller coaster of emotions.
It was. I'm so sad that it has fallen.
That was my father. I honestly felt like a very deep connection with the tower, and like, my father's from the Texas. So the tower's from the Texas, and I'm just saying, like,
so it was basically your father.
It was basically my entire family tree they just knocked down.
I can't believe they would do that to you. I'm so sorry for your loss.
All right, well, morning's over. What's the next article before I start crying?
The next article, you're gonna cry anyway, because this is so dumb. Doctors discover booze brewing in sober woman's bladder.
That just sounds like a regular Tuesday night, actually.
Well, maybe for you.
Wait, why me?
I don't know.
But the woman kept insisting she wasn't an alcoholic, and then they found out she was. Wait, hold on. Just see liver transplant. No, she did. So she didn't drink. Okay, so she didn't drink alcohol. This is kind of like friggin' funky, dog.
Let's see. She was seeking a liver implant.
Yeah, but they found alcohol, but she's like, I don't drink. And they're like, oh, but you do. And then it's like, I don't. And I'm like, oh, you don't. And then they found out that she suffers from urinary autobrewery syndrome, so apparently this happens often enough for it to have its own syndrome.
What? Trey, is this the legendary gamer girl piss you've been talking about?
No, it's non-alcoholic. It's the same thing, but it tastes like strawberry milk. That's what I'm seeking.
I don't believe that for a second.
Well, that's because you've never had authentic.
Anyway, you've
only had disgusting imported and in-house stuff. And oh, there's a picture of a pair of scissors in a guy's ass when you scroll down. Anyway,
What?
yeah, a guy shoved a pair of scissors in his butthole.
Why does
Apparently,
the guy have a pair of scissors in his ass?
did you know that TV remotes are one of the most frequently found items lodged inside of people's anuses?
I did not know that. I
As
don't think I needed
Oh,
to know.
as well as shampoo bottles, action figures.
Action
Yeah,
figures.
they find those just as often as they find like sex toys.
That's an ouch right there, dog. Let's see. The woman's urine had a lot of sugar and yeast, which is the two key ingredients for fermentation.
Yeah.
I didn't know fermenting it was so short, unless she only went pee like every 2 days or something.
All right, so urine stays in the body for more than a few hours, and fermentation can occurs in a few hours.
Does fermentation only take that long?
I mean, in trace amounts, like if for just the amount that a normal person would pee out, yeah, that would be enough.
I see.
And with the same thing, she didn't have the stuff that like breaks apart alcohol, and that's why it like started growing. There's allowed to come back for a liver transplant. Yeah, this one just seems kind of like clickbaity.
I'm slightly disappointed by this one, but still interesting.
What the hell is this child? Hold on, I gotta look something up now.
What are you looking up?
This is not an article that you posted.
Okay.
But there is a movement where so you know the whole what was her name? Greta Thunberg? I don't remember.
Nope. Doesn't ring
she essentially she was like she's like a kid. She's like a teenager. I'm not gonna say kid. Who hold on, let me look it up. Greta Thunberg.
Alright, while you're looking that up, I hope you guys are pleased to know that she was allowed back on the list to be considered for a liver transplant. So hopefully she's gotten that by now.
Nice. Probably not.
I assume it does take a while for a liver transplant, but hopefully she gets it.
All right, here it is. So Greta Thunberg. I can't speak Swedish, so I'm gonna butcher it. She's a high schooler and she's an environmental activist, and she essentially like her big thing is she came up to like I believe it was the UN, and she talked about how like climate change is a problem, and it shouldn't take a high schooler to tell a group of adults this.
Yeah.
And then a bunch of people were like, "Oh, she's just a stupid kid. I'd beat her ass." And it's like, you just said you beat a kid's ass. Yeah, like all the climate change deniers. Yeah. And now there's now the the climate change deniers have sided with this chick named Naomi Sabed. Who she's also a high schooler. She's a 19-year-old climate science denier, and she's being marketed as like the counter to Greta.
What?
And she's a fan. Hold on, of this guy. Apparently, a guy named Stefan Molyneux, which is a racist vlogger. Apparently. He's a far-right white nationalist Canadian podcaster who is known for his promotion of scientific racism and supremacist views.
This is all sorts of yikes.
This is yeah. So essentially, now we're having the high schoolers fight. for climate change and climate deniers.
I want to know how anyone of our age can think climate change doesn't exist.
Because people, it's just like how you're taught. It's like, oh, hey, you're young. I'm going to force my ideology on you instead of allowing you to make your own decisions. Because I don't believe in freedom of speech, but don't take away my amendment. But that doesn't really, also, like, different countries, different flows, I guess. And so it's like, oh, this country's more leaning this way, and oh, I hate this. Oh, so we gotta hate this. So anyway, I just wanted to also, hold on, I gotta find the meme about it.
Oh, you got a meme.
It's a horrible meme, actually. Saved.
Well, you find that. Thousands of bees attack police. Firefighters responding to sting report. Apparently, there were 30,000 to 40,000 aggressive bees in Pasadena, California, approximately a week and a half ago. Firefighters were forced to smoke them out with what looks like their what's the freaking tool?
They're called bee smokers.
It looked like one of the fire extinguishers, but probably didn't have, like, that stuff in it.
They shot the bees, gotcha, just because they were different.
It was self-defense.
He had a gun, I swear. Oh, I found the image. Before we continue.
First line of the article, it was a classic honey trap.
I hate that.
Me too.
So when somebody made a post, or when the New York Post made a Twitter post about, what's it called? About Naomi Sept becoming the Climate Views market person. Not just him, but there were a few other people who were like, I trust her, she's hotter, and she's only like 19 years old.
What the fuck is wrong with people?
I've seen your browser history.
There is so many things wrong with this.
Yeah, get ready for the proxy wars, dude. We're gonna have 13-year-olds fighting over whether we should have inflated taxes or not pretty soon.
As long as they stay away from my animes, we're fine. Not really, but
Oh, no. Oh my god, dude. Oh, dude. Only 2 firefighters and one cop and 2 civilians survived the bees.
What?
Oh wait, no. I meant I had to go to the hospital. No, reverse. No. Oopsie.
There was so many casualties.
I meant survive. I meant were affected by the bees. There we go. That is oopsie. That would have been really bad.
All those bees stung the hearts of firefighters and police officers.
Oh my god, they all died. Anyway, so yeah, there was like 30,000 to 40,000 of the Africanized bees, which are a hybrid of African honeybees and European honeybees. Also, our bees are dying, so support mychange.org. Save the bees.
Save the Leaning Tower of Dallas.
Nah, that one's gone. Old news. The bees are old news. Just give me your money, guys. You can find me on Patreon at Thickboy Tanaf. Thank you very much.
Have fun with that. The first firefighter to arrive at the scene immediately started getting attacked by the bees. noting that the number of bees in the area at that point was absolutely massive.
Yeah, 30,000 to 40,000, dude.
That is a lot of bees. The call over the radio was, "There's a block-long swarm of bees." They probably could have just taken over a building if they wanted to.
I mean, theoretically, yeah, but I don't think, like, bees have the mental capacity to do that.
Have you watched the bee movie? I think they do.
I don't think you have the mental capacity to do that either.
Well, I certainly don't. Nor do I have the tools for it.
Hold on, I gotta make sure that okay, I did. Perfect. That was Carl Hughes.
The firefighter's first thought was to run back into the vehicle, but then remembered his partner inside was allergic to bees. So any of the bees that followed him in could pose a deadly threat. This man stuck outside to save his friend.
Oh, dude, so I was right.
Hi.
I think you should edit it out.
Probably.
Alright. Is your mom gone now?
Yeah, and we're back.
Okay, now that no jump cut happened because nothing happened whatsoever.
Nothing happened.
Let's talk about what we were talking about.
Bees.
No, we already passed that.
No, we're still in the bee. No.
Yeah, only five people lived, essentially, is what I'm saying. The others are all bee zombies, right? So what he does is it stabs you with its stinger, right?
And then they die.
And then they die, but that's because the stinger contains their consciousness. And if you don't take the bee's consciousness, if you don't take the stinger out, it implants the bee's cells into you, and then it gets into your bloodstream. The blood goes through your body into your brain, and then the bee takes over.
And then you become a bee zombie. And then you go to sting another person and then die immediately after.
No, that's how you get sexual assault charges.
What?
Because you sting them with your stinger. Oh, there's a bug. Oh no. Well, hey Sean.
No, Trey, dodge it, get rid of it. Don't get stung by the bee.
It's too late.
Oh no, that happened way too fast. Well, let's hope our next article can save him with the aliens coming down, because UFOs are real.
What?
Look at the next article.
Dog, I'm literally just trying to collect honey and what? Hold on.
Fucking UFOs are real.
Alright, an innovative public benefit corporation which will advance it has established three synergistic divisions: science, aerospace, entertainment. We believe that there are discoveries within our reach that revolutionize the human experience. The two most important days in your life are the day you were born and the day you find out why. Thank you, Mark Twain. I don't know what that has to do with space.
I don't either, but it's got a space background.
All right. Oh, it was the opening statement they used at the. What is that? The TTS like... to the Stars Academy of Arts and Science.
I had no idea what those acronyms were.
It's an academy dedicated to science, aerospace, and entertainment, apparently.
Let's see.
The UAP proves exotic technologies that can revolutionize human existence.
Experience.
What?
It says experience, not existence. Unless you're looking at something else.
No, yeah, you're right, experience. Who have been operating the TTS/AAS statement. It's team members who have been operating under the shadows of top secrecy for decades believe that there's sufficient credible evidence of UAP that proves exotic technologies exist that could revolutionize the human experience. What is UAP? Unidentified what?
I don't know what UAP is. You look it up. Well, I continue. Let's see.
I looked it up and I got urban unidentified aerial phenomena.
Ah.
Because they stopped using UFO as a term because it's just an outdated term that's tied too heavily with spooky aliens. And apparently, I looked it up, and apparently the Navy agrees.
The Navy agrees that UFOs are real?
UFOs are real, apparently.
Yeah.
The footage of it is real anyway.
Yeah, Navy.
Good.
Lou will architect partnerships with some very sensitive places, aliens, to help protect us and the technology involved so we may achieve for you the extraordinary. Lou.
The official. So, dude, I don't get it, dude. Why? Like, so I was going through it, right?
Yeah.
And they just use this, like, why do the pictures of, like, why did futuristic pictures of what tech could be have to look like absolute garbage? It looks like a compass.
It does.
It's trying to tell me north is that way.
It can only drive two directions, north and south.
And north-er.
It goes south by going too much north.
That is Cyberpunk 2077. How dare so I'm reading more. How dare we think that the physics we have today is all that there is? He told me in an interview a few days ago, the opportunity here, as he sees it, is to stand in the future and look back. Physics is a defined science.
I'm all for expanding physics, but the way it's said there, it's like, how dare we think that's all there is to physics? When really, what else are we gonna do with physics with the gravity we have on Earth? I think we figured out most of the physics with all the gravity. We have to do physics with anti-gravity.
Hold on, what is this? At one point, how would this work? Hold on, 2 F-18s. What? Hold on.
His.
Okay, no, he's talking about how he detected a UFO.
Okay.
So, like, why, or I should say how, does that thing fly?
With the Ark of the Cosmos from the Sonic Riders, zero gravity.
Alright, I gotta get out of here. I don't know.
I think
this article seems hella bunk. I don't know why.
I trust the article, but at the same time, there's just so much nonsense in here.
Yeah.
Not so much the quotes, but like the explanation of stuff.
Hold on, who is Luis? Luis is Dino? The former the former Department of Defense guy. Who ran an important program for the Department of Defense. Elysiano is a senior career intelligence officer whose experience includes working with the Army, Department of Defense, the National Counterintelligence Executive, and the Director of National Intelligence. He served as the Director for National Programs, Special Management Staff in the Office of the Secretary of Defense. He is also the former Director of Programs to investigate unidentified aerial threats for the Office of the Secretary of Defense.
This is the future that Brunel's parents want for him.
Oh my god, you're right, dude. That's why they have the electric cars.
It is. I can't wait for Brunel to never game with us again because he's too busy doing all of that stuff at once.
He's too busy charging his car, dude.
My favorite.
Sorry guys, I can't play on the computer. It's my car is plugged in.
My favorite line is in this article is I asked him if these unidentified objects were considered to be threats, and quote, they did not exhibit overt hostility.
I don't know. It just seems kind of sus because it's like, yeah, it's a guy that left the Pentagon, but it's one guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then the way the article says it is Luis Elizondo confirmed that UFOs are real, they exist, and they have been officially documented. Can anyone argue with this fact now, given where this man comes from and where he and what he knows?
Just because of where he comes from doesn't mean he's telling a fact.
Yeah, he could just be messing with them, dude. Because, if, what's it called? If UFOs, UPAs being a thing is, such a thing that, or UAPs, thing the government's trying to keep under wraps, if this man mysteriously dies within 6 months, dude, that's how we know aliens are real.
We gotta keep an eye out for that.
Mm-hmm. So we gotta come back. Remember his name.
I'll bookmark it.
It's like, hey, why is it redacted all of a sudden?
It is very important to note that Lou does not speak for the Department of Defense since he is no longer employed there.
Maybe he got fired.
He got
Maybe he
fired
got forced to resign. Dude, he doesn't. He's not working anymore. He's just bored. Dude, oh my god, that is so what I would do, dude. I would get some high-ranking official thing, and then people would be like, "Oh, can you confirm or deny any of these rumors?" It's like maybe. It's not like I work for a company that makes some food paste. It's like, is this made out of people? It's like, are you made out of people? It's like, what?
Well, Lou says the fact is we might not necessarily be alone. Now is the time to move forward and try to answer some of life's deepest mysteries. Before we find aliens, can we find Bigfoot?
Can we find out what's on our ocean first?
Also that. I think the stuff in our ocean is gonna be more freaky than space.
Oh no, 100%. Oh, you need to look up. This is just for another podcast, not this one.
Alright, it'll be for the next one.
Yeah, if we do, it'll take too long. But you should 100% talk about how there are 50-something missing nuclear warheads around the Earth.
What?
You heard me.
What? How are there? You said 53?
I think so. I know that Russia lost 40.
Holy
I'll look it up.
shit. Well, you gotta.
Oh, and the U.S. has lost 8.
Yes.
And one's is somewhere in the ocean, and it's close enough to to a lot of people.
Oh no! I can't believe
apparently, yeah. Here, I'll DM it to you for that, so that way you can talk about it.
Right, well,
next time.
Well, you know what we're talking about next podcast at the start. But
all right,
that is going to be everything for today.
Oh, thank God we're not talking about Star Wars.
Oh, I almost. Thank you, Trey. It's not the end.
Oh,
It's not the
man.
end. Star Wars confirms Palpatine was a clone in Rise of Skywalker. How the fuck?
Wait, hold on. In the confirms Palpatine was a clone. In the novelization of the Star Wars: The Rise of the Skywalker, confirms Palpatine was a clone. The Disney era of Star Wars has frequently used novelizations to tie up loose ends from the films themselves. In the case of Star Wars: Rise of the Skywalker, the film had a startling number of plot holes that the writer Ray Carson will surely be hoping to navigate. Marketing for Star Wars: The Rise of the Skywalker had emphasized the unexpected return of Emperor Palpatine, yada yada yada. Spoiler warnings. He died.
He did die.
Originally. And then it said, raise the question, and then hand wave the question away with, the dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some would consider unnatural. And people were like, okay, well, that's stupid. The novels will give us context, right? And then the novel's not even out.
Some advanced copies were sold. It seems when the Emperor's spirit was transferred to a clone body, and when Kylo Ren arrived on Exegol and sees Palpatine, he looks closely at the machinery and recognizes it from his studies of the Clone Wars, and he deduces that Palpatine's dark spirit is too strong for the clone body and is causing degeneration to it, which is why he's hooked up to all that machinery all the time.
Oh.
I still think that's pretty dumb.
I mean, at least it's not he survived.
At least it's not that.
Alright. And now you have a clickbait title.
Yeah.
Emperor Palpatine clone ?
And like all clickbait, it will be at the end of the video. For whatever reason.
It's literally perfect. It's literally perfect timing. And it's not even going to be, like, talked about as much as all the other ones, because, like, that's literally all we have to say on the matter.
Yeah. It's fucking dumb, that's all.
Alright, end it now. While we still, before they realize that we just japed them.
Alright, that's it for the podcast for today. This is going to turn into once a week thing because no news articles come out twice a week. But anyway, thanks for all.
They come out every day.
Well, not enough come out to have 2 times a week for the podcast.
Yeah, they. Oh, dude,
no, they don't. You find me news articles then. That's it.
I'm not
See you next time.
I'm not the podcast.
Dab whip.